we are doing our podcast number 39.
Yes, sir. One from 40.
1 from 40 and 61 from 100.
Mm-hmm.
And for each of those 38 and this one, I'm grateful.
Of course, we're grateful. And today, more than ever, Friday the 13th, and we're recording a gratitude podcast.
Right. Because you can look at Friday the 13th and go, oh my God, what a bad day. It's going to be the worst day. It's full of bad luck and whatever, and forget to be grateful.
Forget to be grateful. And if you have those thoughts, chances are you might have a crappy day. But if you look at it,
chances are very good that you'll have a
chances
crappy
are very
day.
good.
And you have a lean back, right? Oh, because it's Friday the 13th.
Right.
And you're comfortable that way. You're comfortable with bad thoughts, which equals into bad things. And then you have your escape of, and this is what this podcast today is all about, is how do you change your negative thoughts into positive thoughts and say, even though it's Friday the 13th, who cares? I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm healthy, I'm happy, weather could not be more beautiful in the 80s and sunny. And man, it's just a lot to be grateful for.
Tons to be grateful for.
The list is so long,
and it's just so important to have this mindset. We talked about it on the last podcast, the Positive Self-Talk podcast 38, that these thoughts that we have create our entire world. Like you and I are perfect examples in the short period of how we changed our thoughts and our outlook and what the universe has given us because of that mentality shift.
Absolutely. And again, it stems from just being mindful, right? And just being present and mindful and taking care of myself in the gym, in journaling, finding that early 5 a.m. me time. You can't help but be grateful. You can't help but be happy that you're going in the right direction, etc., right? And then practicing it, of course, amplifies it. That's what we'll talk about today, is how important it is. But
we all have the choice to better our life. And that's an amazing choice to have, because not everyone has that. Not everyone has the choice to better their life. Some people are not here anymore.
Well, again, that's how I looked at it, was, okay, 45 years old. What am I going to do with the next 45? Am I going to continue to be negative and toxic and stressed? Or am I going to just let go, really, really, really chase peace and non-stress and health? And again, before we get into this, I'm just going to say it one more time. This is not work. That was work.
That was work. It takes work to be stressed and have anxiety and wake up not feeling great in the morning. That's work.
And live in a negative world and be around negativity and be around toxicity and be around non-healthy behaviors. It's work. That's more work. Writing down 3 things I'm grateful for, like trying to catch myself and be mindful when I'm driving and appreciating nature and being alive and having a healthy, happy family and all the good things is not work. That was work. That was work. So we're going to share how to practice non-work gratitude, because not having gratitude and being grateful is work.
It's work.
This is all pleasure.
That's not the kind of work you want to be doing. See, the thing is, I wish, and again, a lot of households, even our parents, they taught us gratitude, but it wasn't every day. It wasn't like you need to practice this every day. They should be teaching this in schools at a very young age. When you get to school, first thing you should do is pull out your notebook and journal 3 things you're grateful for.
Right.
They don't teach that in school.
No. Or again, life coaching clients that you make write 100 things they're grateful for, and every single one of them, the first thing is like, I don't have 100 things.
Yeah, right.
And then once they get going, they have 500 things. So what is gratitude?
Gratitude.
How would you define it? I want the Jeremy Torchinsky.
Sure. I mean,
what's it called?
listen, at the end of the day, gratitude is a mindset. Gratitude is having the appreciation for all the choices, all the different choices you have as a human being. You have endless amounts of choices, number one. And number two is, why do you have those choices? Those choices came from everything that happened to you in your past. Those choices came from your parents, all the opportunities your parents gave to you. I understand some people had a rough childhood. Look, I had a rough childhood at times. You had a rough childhood, and you can go into negativity that I didn't have this, I didn't have that, my parents didn't have enough money to send me to college. But your parents had enough money to get you here. You still went to school. You still had clothes on your back. You still ate. You still had a bike. You still were able to get your license and drive. Gratitude, yeah, of course. Gratitude is all a mindset for all the little things that got you to today. So a lot of us want to look at our past and think negatively out of our past. How about going back and revisiting and saying thank you for every single event that happened to you in the past? You know, there was times in my past where I thought it was the end of the world, like, you know, getting picked on or bullied on, or, you know, my dad whipped my ass here and there once in a while. But now looking back at that, I'm grateful for all that, because that sharpened me. That made me who I am today.
When you're in it, and some of the people watching are in it, it's so hard.
But that's why I'm bringing it up.
Right. It's so hard to see this world where you're going to be grateful for the hardships that you're going through right now. It's so hard. Like, again, a year and a half ago, when I was the heaviest I was, and drinking and eating bad and not knowing where my career was, to see the light that one day I'd be grateful for that, because that helped me get to where I am today, seemed impossible, right? Like, that's impossible. That'll never happen. Again, full of doubts. So, and just that negativity. The world sucks. The world owes me. Just nonstop illusion of shit that wasn't even there.
Yeah.
That I created in my own. But just to say, well, hold on. So if I practice gratitude and I journal and I start taking care of myself, and I'm going to look back to today and be grateful for the fact that I'm 250 pounds and I'm drinking too much and I'm eating too much and I don't know where. No, it's really hard. It's really hard to kind of stop going in that negative direction and going into the positive direction. But all it is the decision.
That's it.
That's it. Then I promise, it feels like it's hard. It feels like you got to go out and, like, I don't know, move 1 million pounds. It's not. It's really not that hard. And again, I don't know how I even did it, because it wasn't even that much work, is the point. Yes, I went to the gym because I enjoyed it, and I liked looking at the scale every 3-4 days, and it was less. And I liked getting stronger, and I liked feeling healthier and eating right and sleeping better and stopping the drinking and the being hung over and becoming a better human being and more mindful. That's what this comes with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yes, it just seems so impossible, and that's who I really want to talk to right now, because I do remember that feeling of I felt like it was literally moving this mountain.
Yeah. And I want to add to this, because I remember the moment when you made the decision. You're like, you know what, screw Jeremy, I'm going to the gym with you tomorrow. So
I didn't say screw Jeremy. I said screw it. I'm going with Jeremy.
Yeah. So before you made that decision, you were very negative. You know, you were overweight. You were in between careers. There was some stuff going on at home, and I said, Eric, slow down. Look what you have in front of you. Like, you're in a beautiful house. You have healthy kids. Right. You're married. Like, you literally can do anything you want. Just look at what you have, and you sat there and you were like, you know what? Let's just do it. So that's the power of what gratitude does. It's an instantaneous shift in your perspective.
Right.
It gets you out of the funk. So regardless of what the situation is, Or let's say you had a bad event that just happened to you. You can sit in it for a week, 2 weeks, a month. It could ruin your entire year, one bad event. My wife passed away a year ago. That could have ruined everything.
Right.
But there's a lot to be grateful for.
Right.
I still have Nathan. I have the business. I have health. I had the lessons that she taught me that are super valuable,
Right.
that are going to help others. So,
and again, and that's what gratitude does help. Everyone thinks it leads to this complacency, right? It leads to, I'll just be grateful for it and everything will be okay. But no, practicing gratefulness, again, means you're practicing mindfulness, and practicing gratefulness and mindfulness is what leads to inspiration, motivation, achieving goals, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about how do you make that shift from this negative self-talk. We just had a great podcast. If you didn't listen to it, it was podcast
last
before, 38,
last one, 38.
On positive self-talk. So we're not going to dwell on it, but gratitude starts with positive self-talk.
Right.
So
hand in hand.
Hand in hand. So let's talk about how to, again, we're talking to the people that don't practice gratefulness, don't practice positive self-talk. They're in this negative world, toxic world, stressed, maybe not as healthy as they should be. How do they start practicing positive self-talk and gratefulness?
The first step is always to become aware of your thoughts. Do a scan, an inventory of the thoughts that you're having. Again, there's been plenty of studies out there, like 90% of all the thoughts that we have are repetitive.
Right.
So change those thoughts, change them. Auto-suggestion is how every single successful person created their success. They programmed it in their mind that this is what they want. You want a positive world? Then you have to start saying the world is positive. You want to make more money? Then you have to start saying, I'm in the process of making more money. Even though I only make $15 an hour right now, I'm worth $1,000 an hour. I'm in the journey of doing that. So number one is just always be aware of what are your thoughts. What are the thoughts you're having? Are they negative thoughts? Are they positive thoughts?
Right.
And being aware of your actual circumstance. Like, okay, so maybe you're not living in the house that you want or driving the car that you want, but you're living in a house. You're driving a car. Do you have the ability to upgrade your house and your car? If you have the chance and the ability to do that, you should be grateful for that, because not everyone does have that chance.
Right. Right.
It's really getting out of your own way.
I love the quote that all these things that you feel you don't have, like 99% of the world, literally that high of a number, would kill to be in your position.
Correct.
Right.
We're living in the greatest country on earth. I don't care what anyone says.
So even if you're, divorced or in a bad, hard situation, maybe you're in between jobs, etc., but you have healthy children and you're a capable person and you're intelligent and you finished high school and probably college, etc., what is there not to be grateful for? You absolutely have this ability to go do whatever you need to do to be healthy and happy and be grateful for the children, the experience, even though it led to divorce or whatever else, the experience of it. Now you know what you need and want. The not that we're advocating that, we're absolutely advocating family, but the point is everything you think you need or want, you probably already have.
Right. And if you don't, it's as close as your skin to get it.
Exactly. So, and again, yeah, anything's possible. You can put a year or two or three or four or five together, and suddenly you look back and you're like, oh my God, thank God for that tough moment, because it led to this.
Right.
And that's what's possible. And I promise everyone, it's a lot less work than living in that world. It's just so let's talk about it, because again, part of the journal that we give our clients and so on is three things to be grateful for every day, right? To just write them down.
Yep.
And I just remember when I started doing it, every day it was wife, kids, health. And then I would try to mix it up. But again, kids would always make the list.
Sure.
The wife would always make the list. But then it did turn into health. I started feeling healthier, working out. It started becoming other things that I was grateful for.
Right.
And I remember you coaching me on that too. You were like, the tree outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you could be living in a place that doesn't have trees, and you'll be like, oh my God, I miss the trees. So when we're here and we see trees, we forget about them.
Right. Right. So how does one start practicing gratitude?
Okay, well, we said number one, be aware. That's always step number one when it comes to gratitude, positive self-talk, any sort of change. Be aware. Know exactly where you want to go, what you want, what your mind is saying. Monitor your thoughts. Become aware. Be conscious of yourself. Okay, that's always number one.
Right.
Number two is, you mentioned it with the journal. You started writing three things you're grateful for. You got to practice it. Just like anything, it's habits. It's habits. You mentioned when I started journaling gratitude, it was the same thing over and over. But then it was okay. Like I started losing weight and feeling better, and I became more grateful for the trees and everything. Your whole mood started to increase because you were practicing it. It didn't happen overnight. You weren't like all of a sudden like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like everything is great. It took 30 days, 60 days, 90 days of journaling, of writing. So, and we always encourage to journal and write because there's magic behind the pen and the paper, but just your thoughts.
It's mind, pen to paper, right?
Right. But just even as you're walking outside, thank you tree, thank you birds, thanks for the steps that I'm taking.
Man, I remember the first time I wrote healthy breathing just from starting to run,
right,
and realizing the how hard that first mile always is,
yeah,
but then how amazing is the breathing after.
Yeah, thank you lungs for getting healthier day by day.
I called it healthy breathing, but
thank you world for getting better and better. I mean, I understand there's war, but hey, there's been war 93% of the time that we've been in existence. Okay, so what's changed?
No, I mean, there's always war. You can look
war,
at countries in Africa and Asia.
It doesn't mean all your thoughts have to be consumed by this. Be thankful for everything else you have, and pray for the people that are going through hard times.
So that's a big thing, that people think gratefulness, you ignore the negativity and pain in the world, and any suffering in life. It's not that. It's not that. There's still grief. Grief is still good for you too.
It's transforming.
It's transforming, right? So we're not advocating, the fact that there's people suffering, that you should be grateful. That's not the point. You should feel some grief. You should feel some pain, and some empathy for these people, for sure. But at the same time, you're healthy, you're happy. If you're stressed and upset about it, you're not helping yourself or anyone else.
Anyone else. If you want to help the people that are less fortunate than you and that are struggling and stressed, help yourself first. Upgrade your positivity, your energy, your gratitude, because it spreads. It spreads like a fire.
Right.
So again, you want to fix the world, you got to fix yourself first.
And these are some of the things where you can practice gratitude, is through some of the hardships. So when you do see issues, negativity, Browns losing.
Oh, they're not going to lose anymore.
They're not going to be losing anymore. But no, there's still a million things to be grateful for. And again, if you don't practice it, you're spreading it. It's your choice of the ripple effect that you want to have on people. Do you want to spread gratitude and healthiness and happiness and positivity, or not? So if you're not practicing gratitude, I promise you, you're the negative toxicity in other people's lives as well, not just your own. And that's the importance of this too. If you do have empathy for people and care about their health and their happiness, you got to fix yourself.
And a lot of times it's not even that person's fault because they're not doing number one. They're not being even aware of what they're doing.
Right. Oh,
You know,
yeah. Most of them are not aware.
There's the higher mind and there's the lower mind. And the lower mind is the ego. It's our protective mechanism that is created from birth. And when we're living just in this lower mind, we're not even aware of the rest of the world. You're not even aware of gratitude because you're thinking about how your Starbucks order got messed up for an hour.
Right.
How they misspelled your name or something.
Right.
It could be anything.
So let's go back to some of this. We have what, 7 minutes.
Yeah, this is going to be a short podcast.
It's short. It's short.
I have the opportunity to do this podcast and then pick up my son on this beautiful day.
Nice. But we, and again, this is like part of. It almost feels like the third part of a 3 series of gratefulness, positive self-talk,
exactly.
And how do you get stressed?
We wanted to put this all in one, but we're like, we kind of have to separate the two. So here's the two.
Right. And I think we've already really hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
But what else? So stress relief. We talked about that 2 podcasts ago. Again, please go listen to it. I think it's a life changer. I really do. Again, it's not just Jeremy's opinions and mine, although we have a lot of that in there.
But the reason why we have that in there is because we are like the living proof of example of why it works. Again, look at my life 2 years ago. Look at Eric's life a year ago. Total anti-opposite of this. Stressed, worried, not knowing about the future, sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're the opposite of that because we change positive self-talk. We practice gratitude. These things work.
We take care of ourselves first.
We are the living proof of it. You want to release stress? You can literally do it by taking out a piece of paper and writing 5 things that you're grateful for. Your stress will instantly go from, let's say, a 9 to a 5.
100%.
5 minutes.
Yes.
And we're not even talking about how we said that breathing and other stuff that you could do. We're just talking about gratitude. Make a list, 5 things that you're grateful for. I promise you, your stress will go down.
And at the end of the day, what are you stressful for? Stress equals fear, and fear equals something that you're worried about that might or might not happen in the future. And it's just all an illusion.
Yeah.
It's all an illusion. So why not just flip that switch and be more confident and again, take care of your thoughts and think positively, and you'll be pleasantly surprised that what you were stressed and fearful about, just flipping the switch will actually go your way. You'll be more positive about it. You'll be less stressed. The ripple effect to everyone around you in that situation will be very different. So it is that important. Otherwise, the stress, the fear, it's just going to lead to bad stuff, and then you're going to blame the world for it, the society and whatever else, and it's just going to be a perpetual ball of stress, negativity, negative events that happen, and blame and repeat.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do that? What if you could stop that repetitive and go the other way? And positive thoughts, less stress, be more confident, less fear, and again, like we talked about, envisioning a completely different situation. Don't fear the worst.
Envision the best.
Envision the best.
Exactly. Shoot for the stars, and if you land on the moon, then hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah,
right. You didn't go to hell like you thought you were. Right.
Right.
I mean, to finish that analogy.
Right. And that leads to number 3. We have 3 steps here. We talk about being aware, practice, and number 3 is just be consistent with this. So, look, most of us know that it's good to be grateful. Right? We know that. Our parents taught us that, or we go to church or synagogue or whatever it is. But here's the thing. we forget to practice it.
Right.
We're grateful maybe once a week or once a month when something good happens or so on. We got to be consistent with it every day. Every day. If you want more positivity, if you want more good things to happen to you, then you got to practice more of the good stuff, the gratitude, the positive self-talk.
Okay, I think they get it. I really do. I don't know what else to say that will help explain how important this is. There's one more thing that you need to be religious to be grateful, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Um, People are grateful whether they're religious or not. Um, so much research behind it. Practice gratitude, practice positivity, practice big vision, positive thinking. That's it. That's the summary.
Yes.
And watch magic happen.
Magic.
Speaking of magic, so we want to give them some homework. Let's give them some homework.
Okay.
The magic book. Talk about it.
Yeah, the magic book. I read this book twice, and we talked about that we're going to actually do this as a team. And the magic book it's a 28-day kind of like program where every day you practice gratitude, and at the end of the 28 days, like, your world will change. I'm not going to go over obviously all 28 days, but basically, just to break it down in a nutshell, like the first 12 days, you're going to practice what you have now and the past. The best way to get out, and I mentioned this before, the best way to kind of forgive your past and let go of your past is to go back and see the little events that got you here and be grateful for them.
Right.
Okay. So too many of us are like, oh, this happened. My mom did this. My dad did that. I didn't get this job back then. I didn't get into this school. And these are negative thoughts. So be grateful for the past.
And their excuses for negativity today. And you fall back on it like a crutch, and that's not healthy. That's not good. Accepting them and saying you're going to do things differently and better and be more aware of it and be more positive about it and not use them as crutches is the key. That's the key.
Yeah, yeah.
But
and the magic book, I'm sure some of you have heard or seen the movie on Netflix, The Secret.
Yeah.
That was written by the same author, Rhonda Byrne. So if you guys heard of The Secret, the magic book, this is another one of her amazing books. So anyways.
And again, The Secret is positive self-talk.
Yeah.
And you will manifest positivity with positive self-talk and gratefulness for who you are and the situation you're in and what you want to do and dream of and whatever else. And it's not The Secret's not magic. It's I mean, it's a universal magic, but
it's the magic of our mind.
It's the magic of unwinding what's commonplace, I guess. So that's what's magic. Again, I keep saying I don't know how we've accomplished our health journeys and so on, and our mind journeys. I mean, a perfect word for it is magic. Like it's just doing these things that don't feel like work. It's magic, but things are manifesting every day. I have daily miracles that are absolutely happening that I never in a million years, a year ago, if you would have told me these would happen, I'd say absolutely, that's impossible. That's right. Impossible to just happen in 3 months, just happen in 6 months, just happen in a year. Yeah, it's that fast. So when we're telling you, pick up this book, this magic book, on gratefulness and do the first 28 days, that's the momentum you need to start practicing it every day, right?
And the book promises it'll change you after 28 days.
And it does.
It does.
It does. And again, the 3 steps that we talked about, the 3 main steps is the recognition, the practicing, and the continuing to do it.
The consistency.
The consistency.
You got to practice it, and you got to be consistent at it.
That's homework. Just Googling gratitude. And if you are having issues on what to be grateful for. There's a million lists online too. If you go to Google and just say,
that's a good point.
And you can Google 100 things to be grateful for lists, and they're there. Like, you can make it as easy. Oh, by the way, if you want your kids to start practicing gratefulness, that's a great way of doing it, is printing out that list of 100 things. And it can't be easier by just asking them to circle 5 things and doing it on a daily basis, maybe before bed. I said I was going to do it and I haven't done it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to report back. I'm going to do it with my younger daughter.
That's a good idea. I'm going to do it with Nathan too.
And just circle 5 things every day for a month and see what happens.
Yeah, because again, our lower mind forgets that. Oh my God, yeah, I am grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. Like, right. I'm grateful to be able to open this box that has food in it and pull out food whenever I want. I don't have to go hunt for my food and perhaps not catch anything and starve.
Right.
Forget about that.
Or die of starvation, which how many millions of people
thirst.
over time have done that. So
still even now.
Them, their families, their whatever. Man, we have so much to be grateful for. It's amazing. So, Jeremy, I'm grateful for you.
I'm grateful for you too, buddy. And I'm thankful and grateful for everyone who listens to our podcast, social media, reached out to us, future reach outs, future clients, future just people who follow us and don't follow us. I'm grateful for it all.
Sounds good. If we can help in any way, we're here. Have a blessed weekend. Shabbat shalom. Wish everyone the best, and grateful for you guys. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. A lot more good stuff to come. We didn't have a big intro, but we have some amazing news coming up. If you've made it this far into this podcast, but we'll stay tuned. We'll share that soon. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.